a homebody. We're gonna have a house party.
Smiling faces. I'm going to ask, hey, coaches, can you guys come on out here real quick, out to the front? If you want to just go ahead and grab chairs, because you know how I get talking. I don't want you to have to stand. I just want to share, I think something that I want to make sure you know before you leave. And welcome all virtual. We are so glad you are here. And last night, my brain was just going on, okay, the questions you sent in at the very end yesterday, I will hit them, but it will come to you in a recording. Does that make sense? So I'm going to hit them because today we don't have time to jump into any further of that virtually. So I'm going to hit all of those in a recording and send that out as well. Kristen, Crystal, I hope I just didn't make your life harder, but that's what I want to make sure we do is answer what you came to hear. Why we've started doing these summits, one, for free for all OneStream members, is because we are committed. We're committed to, y'all can come up here. Did you get chairs? Oh, well, come sit up here. Come sit. Yeah. And we didn't plan this. Ha. Just kidding. Yeah, no, we didn't. Yeah. But out of curiosity, by the way, we don't have uniforms. And there's nothing they're required to wear on Saturdays. That's a question that we get a lot. But everybody just wears whatever they want to wear, pretty much. So, right? Like, it's more of like wearing the shirts because it's fun to wear them. That's kind of where that is. So, but what I wanted to tell you guys is we are committed at Do You Speak Bride to continuing conversation all the time on how to get better and better and better at working with brides. So whatever information we have, we are trying to share and teach. Sometimes the question comes, but is this the only way to work with brides? Is this the only way to work with brides? Like, do we have to do everything like you guys do it? And the answer to that is this. When we are here at Ava Loren teaching what we do, where it started with Do You Speak Bride, we are teaching you everything we do exactly how we do it. That's what we're here to do. Can you go and do whatever you want at your boutique to reach whatever goals you may have at your boutique? Absolutely. Freedom. It's your blessed boutique. There is no one who's going to come and wrap your hand and say, bad you at what you're doing. No, but when we're here for a workshop, just know all we want to do is clarify exactly how we're doing it here to help give whatever information we can to show you how we've reached what we've reached. Does that make sense? We're just being as transparent as we can. And then if you say it differently, let's say like in practice, if you say it differently, we will say, no, that's not it. Because we're trying to teach you exactly how it is we've reached where we've reached. I will tell you this, transparency is literally like our mantra. So like, I'm transparent to a fault, a fault. I will tell things about our business that before Gabe and I owned it completely ourselves, we partnered with my sister and her husband. They weren't here. Gabe and I did it from the get-go. They were they just basically did an initial investment, and so that's kind of where that was. But when I started consulting, they were like, you're telling people what we're doing? You're telling people what you're doing? And I'm like, well, yeah, yup. And there have been times where I've told people things and it has shot me in the foot, to tell you the truth. And I'm like, oh man. But we're transparent to a fault. But it's for a reason. I want you to know we are here to answer questions like this. How do you get more 5-star reviews? Because I feel like saying, if you haven't yet, and please hear me, this is not bragging. This is like just putting out there a proof. Go read our reviews. Take the time. Go read our reviews. We have so many people that say, Patty was telling me this morning again, a mom was like, I read your reviews and I was like, those can't even be real reviews. And then I came and was like, it's true. Oh my goodness. And I'm writing my own. How do we get more 5-star reviews? How do we have a bride want to buy here and we're not worried at all about our competitors? How do we not care about dropping a designer even if it's our #1 designer? They might sell like hotcakes, but if they're crappy to work with, I like the freedom of going, thank you so much. Bye. And how do you do that? Your brand has to be strong enough. Your brand, not using the designer's brand. Your brand. You have to care enough about how people hear you to work, to say things in such a way that they can hear you. But if you're like, no, I just want to, you know what, Wendy? I just want to stay the size I am with the boutique I have, and we're just this, and that's how I want to say it. I want to say to you, I have no problem with that whatsoever. More power to you. Do what your goals are for what you're trying to reach. If you're like, I don't care what brides say in a review. We're doing our thing. Great. Do it. I'm just like, do it. If you're like, I don't care if, whatever, fill in the blank. Great. Do it. But just know that while you're here, we will be as transparent as we can, and we have a couple more hours today to do that together. Like, to be like, here's how we do it. And if you absorb, and if you do, and if you follow what we're doing, I'm excited to say, I can guarantee it will change your numbers. Like, I couldn't say that when we first started Do You Speak Bride? Because we had done it, but no one else had followed those things, does that make sense, in those same exact ways. So I couldn't say, I promise you your numbers are going to change. But I could say, hey, this is what we've experienced over different states when I was a stylist first and then owning, and this has been the results. I can show you that, and I'll tell you everything that we've done. And I was very open to, like, if you ever saw me back in the day with First Do You Speak Bride, I was like, if somebody raised their hand and said, well, we don't do it that way. The way we do it is this. I'd be like, oh, great. Okay, great. And I did that for a while. And then, honestly, one of the strongest speakers into that would be Meredith and Rachel, where they came along and they were like, from different boutiques themselves. And they were like, no, it's not great what they're doing differently. It's why they're not seeing the results. If they want to see the results, they're going to need to do it this way. And I was like, okay, can you help me say that? Because I have a hard time saying that, right? But they were right. And Rachel put her finger on something that was very helpful for me. Y'all know this happened yesterday. When I'm speaking, I am more passionate about trying to communicate the philosophy of what I'm doing so that you have a full base of that philosophy. And I look at these beautiful faces out here, and the majority of faces are going, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, tearing up with me. Like, we're just all in it, right? But in that wave of philosophy, sometimes it's hard to pick out the pieces that are important to then apply. Is that fair? Is that right? You come away and you're like, wow, that was great. Okay, what do we do again? Right? And it's partly because of my presentation style, because of what I'm passionate about. I want you to get the philosophy, and I want to teach you the steps. But if I'm fully convinced that if your heart is wanting to serve and love and care for another, and if I can convince you of those truths, then a lot of the things we do that are just, well, that's the way I do it, will fade away and we'll actually communicate with the bride, right? So I'm fully convinced about that. So to me, if I can talk about philosophy and refill your buckets, that's what I'm all about. But what I don't want to do is serve you and not be specific on what I'm trying to have you have takeaways. Make sense? So y'all, I'm fighting like crazy to figure that labyrinth out and I'm committed to it. I want to give you both the full philosophy and then the ability to work out the details of how to do X, Y, Z. Make sense? So you guys were the first ever to be a part of a workshop. You were the first ever to do this system of we're going to teach, now we're going to try it. These were the first ever to say, okay, we'll do the coaching, Wendy. I will speak for them because they've told me there was a lot of like, we're going to do this? Okay, sure. Sure, Wendy. If you say we're going to do this, we're going to do. I'm sure they were very nervous going in just because it's a new thing we are doing here. But I just want to tell you, we're committed to taking this experience today, tomorrow, rehashing it, picking it up, looking at it. How can we even do more? How can we give more? How can we cover more? Because we have to choose. When we do a workshop, we have to choose. We have to do limited amount of subjects so that we have time to practice. If we took the whole time teaching and covering lots of subjects, which is what I've done historically, the weakness has been people come away, wow, we don't know how to do any of that, right? And we don't want that. We want it to be doable. We want it to be applicable in your boutique. So then we limit what we're going to try to cover so you can practice. That's why these workshops are going to be here, going to be free. It's because we're going to continue. The next workshop we do, we're going to pick up pieces we have not done in this workshop, and we're going to dive into those deeper, and we're going to practice those more, and that's what we're going to keep doing. If you come to all of them, Glory Day, it will be fabulous. It will be the best we can do, worth it to come. So you go away and you're like, actually, we're good to go now. We're ready to try these things. We got 6 months to practice or 4 months to practice before we add on the next. Great. That's what our vision is anyway. That's what we're going to try to do. But it's limited subjects. So I'll tell you what my brain did last night and this morning is like, all the things I want to tell them, in the next 4 hours. Oh my goodness. And I was like trying not to short circuit in wanting to tell you. Because as a team, we talked last night. And by the way, I appreciate that y'all are willing to follow my transparency and be like, okay, we'll do that too. Here it is. Here's our shop. I don't know if your shop, the stylists in your shop feel like, well, don't show them what we're doing. Don't show them, then they're going to know what we're doing. That is not foreign to us to feel like, Wendy, you're telling them what we do. You know what I mean? And yet they've come along with that same understanding and want to share. So I thank you for that, because not everybody is wired in that way. But you didn't hold back at all. You were just trying to give it all, which is great. Okay, so, but today, the thing that I was going to talk about leaning in, but instead, because of our conversation at supper last night, I wanted to clarify and make sure some things from yesterday you can hit save on, okay? Because I don't want to have had that trip at all in your mind and then go away and act like we've covered it and done well. And I think stories is what I'm hearing was the hardest thing. That was hard. And it was hard for a couple of reasons. I mean, stories is the hardest and then the most fun once you step over that. But I think there were some things that I want to clarify and have the team help me clarify to you about using stories. Because honestly, some of the team was like, my group was amazing. They were up there and we were like this, and then I told them this, and some group was like, my group nailed it, but there was some confusion at the beginning, so I had to help clarify what it was we were trying to do and how to parallel. So as we talked through that, I feel like it's worth stopping and looking at, because the results of stories is a big result in your store. And I want to make sure we give you that. So do me a favor, if we could have all of you, just come on up here real quick. And I'm going to start with Katie. Katie was up in the third floor rendezvous in the attic. Yeah, go Katie. That's right. So when the team was up here, oh yeah, we're not going to go like a here. Some of you come on over on this side. We're not going in a line. Yeah. No, Patty has a different T-shirt on too. She does. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. You're bringing joy and happiness. It's fine. Okay, so when in the story section, let's just act like this group is your group upstairs. Start from the top of what you were talking to your group about, how you broke it down for them or whatever, and then you and I will kind of talk through. Can we do it that way?
Sure.
All right, sweet.
So definitely we kind of started for the fact that, where's my notebook? What is stories? Why do we even do stories? And to really evoke and we say to evoke emotion. And as we started to get into it, like our group, and I guess it's just easier how we did. So we kind of nailed it, my group. They were all just like, sure, I'll go. Let's get it over with. Let's just do this. And they were so willing to try. And then Peyton, wherever you are, my dear, I keep picking because it was just so good. So she gets up and she's starting, and it's very easy just to go so this is my favorite dress, but I don't know. She's doing all the good things. We're going down, 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 and then she knows it's time for story time, and we're on a cliff a little bit, and it's go, story. And she starts telling, and she's yeah, I bought a dress, and she gave us a snippet. And then she broke out of that. And all of us at the end were okay, that was good, but was that a real story? Then when she told us her real story, she opened up into this brand new person, and all of us were oh my gosh, we feel it. That's it. And then so it kind of one by one, when it was a truth, it opened up. And for you, it was I don't know, should I talk about, that's a personal experience. Do we feel I'm just talking about myself at this moment? And being that is a personal experience actually made her a real person, because it was a feeling that she had. And so that absolutely then paralleled with exactly what we were doing. So each time it went to the next. And whether they didn't have their own story, I would start throwing out a story or throwing out little okay, let's parallel here. We even went as far as paralleling as you think you're going to just go look at a dog at the SPCA and you're coming home with a puppy. No one goes looking for dogs or kittens just to go play and think you're just going to walk and volunteer. That's a cute idea, but you're coming home with one. So even we paralleled that with I'm just coming to play. I'm just coming to look at a puppy. So we made to understand that parallels don't have to be this glamorous love story in the world that all of it came together. No, it can literally be in a Chick-fil-A line, something you experience. It doesn't, or even the story can go into, we did the one that mom is but yeah, we did this with your prom dress and all the things. Dive into a story with mom. The story doesn't have to absolutely only be bride. It's to relate. It's to connect. It's to show that you guys are real. So that's what we played with a lot in my group, that it's yes, there's snippet. You talk into girl, I see you, you're confident, all of those things. Story layer in the middle to really bring it home. And then you just kind of after the story, make sure there's a point to your story. But after your story, you can kind of just trail off. Don't let it be a period. It can kind of just be, and then give her that moment to process it. Don't follow it up with a ton of words. If that's where your story comes in, we lay the groundwork here, we tell our story to kind of solidify, and then give her a pause to take it in. And then see what the response is. Does that all make sense? That's how kind of we did it in my group upstairs.
Excellent. Rachel.
Okay, we're going with blue blazers first. Got it. Okay, I guess you wanted me to give you a summary, right?
Yep.
Okay, my group, I love you, okay? So here's what I would say, my takeaways from just watching this go down, and that within our group, I felt when it was we were there, I have to turn around. Oh, this can be my power pocket. You would be in the power pocket and you're okay, I know, now is the time for a story. I feel it. Okay. And then rather than like running into a story, it could feel like, okay, so you like this dress, right? And you feel like there's another dress that you may feel like you like better, right? So you look gorgeous in this dress. So how you feel? So anyways, the synopsis of what I'm trying to say is that what I felt like it was when you were ready for a story, it was like your gut knew, like, okay, we're working on stories, so I'm thinking about it. And the best way to ease in was like to ask a question, which was like a one-word response kind of question. So it was like stepping stones to get into a story. So know that when you start feeling yourself do that, just go on in. But I think the best action, if stories feel difficult currently, would be to start thinking about like when you know like your gut is going there and like you're gonna want to start like hit save on that moment, and then afterwards like hit up your team and be like, hey, like in this moment, right, I closed her and it was great, but like in that moment I felt myself being like, oh, right now a story could like really land this and bring it home. Like what would you have said? Like what kind of stories, like what do you feel like is like similar? How could I parallel this? Like what are the, so like if you're not fully into stories yet, start getting your brain to activate in the way of saying like, oh, okay, I know it was time for a story and I maybe didn't push in just yet, but no, like how do you go back to your team, or how do you go with like your coworkers and say, how do I get my brain moving, and how do I just start talking about it like, oh, isn't that similar, like this happened, like what would you have said, like what story could I have used, or that process will get your brain moving, so when you're in an appointment next, your first reaction will be like, oh my gosh, like let me tell you something, and you can run right into it.
And I want you again to remember that you can visualize yourself as teachers. So like if you have other teachers who are teaching the same kind of level of person, sharing that kind of brainstorm on how's the best way to, share this to this age level person, you would be sharing those things. You wouldn't have necessarily a K-4 teacher talking to a college professor and have them connect on how to actually connect with the student on those things. And no way am I saying brides are K-4. I'm just saying they're a specific thing. So as we're talking about stories, there's a reason. It's not just, well, we're doing stories because Do You Speak Bride says stories is a pillar. So who said Do You Speak Bride gets to set the rules for stories being a pillar in bride country? Like all of those things, like pillars, all they are is descriptors of what is upholding this good communication with brides. It's a framework that you can look at and go, I can create from this framework. I promise you, what I'm promising you is that it will hold. So like if you understand how to parallel stories that you see, movies, books you read, walking down the street, meeting someone, talking to someone, hitting save on that experience, hitting save on an experience of you as a customer. Like when I just did, was just looking to rent an apartment, not for myself, I'm not trying to live at a different place than Gabe, but I was looking to rent an apartment, and let me just tell you, this salesperson was so focused on hitting the points that she's supposed to hit that she couldn't hear me. She could not hear me. I literally walked in there ready to sign. I was ready to sign. I wanted to do the apartment. And I come in and she's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna take you on the tour real quick. And I was like, okay. I've already looked at it online, but that's great. And I've got great recommendations from someone who used to work here. I trust you. I don't have a lot of time, but it's okay. I'm ready to go. She's like, no, let's go look at it. So we go look at it. And then in the heat, we go look at it. And then it's like, yep, checks all the boxes. That's great. Okay, perfect. Let's go. And she was like, okay, but I'm going to go back and show you the fitness center. So we go back, and I'm looking at the fitness. I'm not even going to live in this apartment. And I was like, it's a great fitness center. It's great. She's like, let's look at the pool. We go look at the pool, and then I'm telling you, it went on. And I was like, so can we just, and we get upstairs, and she was like, okay, so this is how this goes. I know you're probably going to go see a lot of other places and compare, so I'll send you the email of our thing so you can compare. I had just told her, so can we just do it right now? She literally sent me away, refused to do it right now, because I'm definitely going to go look at other places. I'm like, stop. Stop imposing what you think I'm going to do. I'm saying, I would like to buy this. Do you see what I'm saying? Why can't she hear me? She's so caught up in her own head. She's so caught up in this. And then you know what she said at the very end? She's like, and when you get that email, then there's also going to be a link to click where you can leave me. It's a review of how I've done, and I hope you've enjoyed your experience with me. Have I done well for my experience or your experience here? And I was like, yeah. Can we just? She's like, and so if you could just, fill out that review because that's how we get paid, and then we'll just call me when you. And I was just like, all of this, someone has told you to do, and you are unable then to hear me. So it's important that you know when we're talking about. That's why I keep it in the philosophy of the pillars, because I'm scared to put you in something that you cannot function as a human in. I only want to teach you ways to function better in human communication. That's it, right? So in stories, what Rachel's saying is, okay, now you know I want to communicate better to this bride, and there's this skill over here. It's beyond the basics. Stories is not basic. Stories is the advanced level. That's why if the basics aren't natural to you, then this will be impossible. You've got to get the basics where they're like, okay, yeah, this is like flowing. Then you can add on. All right, I'm gonna try stepping into this. Katie, how was it the first time you tried to say the paragraph about love?
My group
About falling in love is the first, finding your dress is like falling in love.
Yep.
That paragraph, the first time she tried it.
So first time, so this is where I definitely learned that you might feel a little bit silly talking to yourself in the mirror, in the shower, but to actually spit it out first before you're in front of a bride is a whole lot easier. Then you're like, okay, this is my time. I need to do this. I need to talk about love.
She had heard it, but she hadn't practiced it.
I had never practiced. So old shop, really quick. Anyways, cute little countertop area. Everyone could sit there on their laptops, and Wendy and Gabe's sitting there, and I'm sitting on the pedestal, and we're talking. And I was like, so we love celebrating love. We celebrate love. I love celebrate, and we celebrate here. And I can watch Gabe's face is like, what is she saying? And the bride's kind of staring at me. I was like, okay, so we celebrate love. And I just moved right on. From that moment, I was like, I don't care what it takes. My husband knows all Do You Speak Bride because I say it over and over and over in the shower until I understand it. Then I can put emotion behind it.
That's right.
So it's really important sometimes, and that's why I know we're just letting you guys practice. Spit it out. But I want you guys to be brave enough. Spit it out to yourselves, to each other, role play. So then when it comes time that you have to have that courage to say it in front of the bride, it doesn't come out as much. But then I would rather you guys say it. I would rather, even if you're like, man, this is my time, this is my chance, I gotta go. It's better to take the chance and go and do it than rob her of that opportunity. My bride didn't look at me any different from babbling on. Yep. I actually just showed that I was a person.
That's right.
And it's okay. So it's all how then on the backside, it was just like, yeah, so I celebrate love. That's pretty much all I needed to say. And then I backtracked and I was like, never, ever again will I be unprepared for that moment. So, yeah.
That's what I love about Katie. I love it about Katie. And not too long after that, there was a bride and her mom. Do you remember this mom? Yep. The mom was shutting it down. I mean, bad. I mean, she was against the bride, against the dress. And Katie took that appointment, and she was working it all the way through. And I don't even know if you ever did come, or you were just like, I'm doing this, and I'm powering through, and then I'm going to come tell you. But I remember it was a while that battle happened, and Katie stuck in and found the moment that she was waiting for to use the paragraph that we teach on the mother-daughter conflict. She found it finally, and she was like, I don't know if I'm going to say this perfectly, but I'm saying it, doggone it. And she said it. She turned the mom. And when that mom bought the dress, Katie comes up and she was like, I did it. I said it. It was so great. But then confidence level as a stylist, it goes up, 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 up. Is there somebody who walks in the door then that she's afraid of? No. She did the hard thing, and she saw the result. I want to encourage you, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And you know what is connected to fear? Doubt. That's why we want to communicate confidently to you, because I don't want you to doubt it. If you doubt what you're doing is effective, you won't step forward into it, and you won't do it with any sort of gusto, because you'll be like, I'm not so sure this is going to work, right? So it's a mind switch before the moment even happens. It's a mind switch where you're like, okay, all right, we're going to it. And you know what will make you do it? Listen closely to me. It's remembering your motive. That's a kicker. If your motive is to maintain that you look good to the bride, one, you won't reach that. You won't look good to the bride. But two, you'll never step into empowering another because you're more worried about protecting yourself. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to fall on my face. I just don't want to, that's I. The only thing that drives us to say things that are a little bit unnatural in any other setting of sales is because we want for the bride to be empowered. We want to give opportunities for her to see things the way that they actually are. What do I mean by that? She thinks she's coming in for a product purchase. They think they're coming to help her with a style choice. Are those right in what it actually is? No, not really. They're not right. We have to help her know, okay, yeah, we love that that's what, and there's no way you can know anything else that of anticipating what it will be, but it's not that. How do we know that? I'll tell you one way I know that. A bride has shown me a picture before of a dress she tried on another shop, and I've been like, oh, shoot, it's so pretty. That is so pretty. And I wanted to be like, why did you not say yes to that dress? That is amazing, and we have nothing like it, right? And she has purchased something here that in my style opinion was not as beautiful as the picture I saw coming in. A proof to me always that there's something about the dress she put on here that actually touched her personally. It's not so much about the style choice. There have been some brides, y'all know, where if you listen to them and do exactly what it is they want, and then they're lit up, you're sitting there going, that's horrific. Do you remember that one bride at the Old Space? Were you up there when that, oh, mercy. She came in, she wanted white, so I found the one like white dress we had, which was almost like a special occasion dress. And then she was describing, I was watching someone else struggle with her, so I came down to take over. And so I just started hearing, okay, you want this? Okay, and you're thinking a big long train, but a simple dress, but you want a big long, okay, so let's find a detached train. So we put a detached train on. It was ivory. And I was like, so this one's ivory. She was like, that's perfect. She was like, if it had a little more bling, sure. So we get a little bling. We put the bling belt on her, and then we added a little sleeve. She wanted a veil that poofed up. We put the veil that poofed up. This woman looked like a train wreck. And she stood there, and she was like, this is it. And I was like, yes, it is. What? It's the most self-expressive garment. It isn't about my style, taste, or anybody else's. It's what she feels beautiful in. And find it. Find it. But if you are stuck in what's wrong thoughts about this process, you'll be the apartment sales lady and say, wait. Nope, you can't. No, that's not the direction we're going. We're going this direction, right? Or you think you're being kind to her by saying, y'all go to lunch and just think on it. Just go to lunch and chew on it. We'll be here. No pressure from me. They want to buy. Hear that in your head. They want to buy a dress. They need someone to give them courage to know that they're not going to miss out. That's why what you do for brides beyond the dress helps a lot to speak into her, because instead of this being the end of her journey, it becomes the beginning of her journey to say yes to the dress. Change that in your boutique and it will change your results. If this is the end of the journey, mom fights for her not to say yes to it because she has 4 more appointments. She wants to make this journey last as long as she can. She wants to celebrate longer. And when this is over, it's kind of sad. All this hype up, And if she finds her dress at the first shop, that's a little bit of a downer. No bride wants a downer. So we have to be smart. We have to go, okay, it's not a downer. This is a ticket into all the fun things you get to do as our bride. You want to do it, because then you get to come to the fun things we're doing. It's so much fun to be able to do. Those little things help her go, oh, yes, I'm stepping into this. I like this. All of a sudden, all the other stores, instead of you being even, all the other stores during the appointment, by the way, in the dressing room, when you're talking to the bride, you need to be telling her, something I didn't put on the points, by the way. You need to be telling her, sorry, you probably are going to do it anyway, but it's not on the points. You need to be telling her what is different about your boutique. Why, what she gets to do as a bride from your boutique. That's your job in the dressing room. If you don't separate your boutique from others, and you're just doing the same normal questions that a stylist would do across the street, then you've missed out on an opportunity to bump her even further towards your brand. So talk a lot about your things. If you don't have those things, create those things. If you need help with that, call Do You Speak Bride. We will help you brainstorm on things you can do, because we want to help you. If you're talking about like, well, they shop around and they look for that, they're trying to tell us about this one over here has cheaper prices. Those are things that 99% of the time we don't have to deal with here. So, and it's because of the sorority, the brand that we're so passionate about teaching. So it's not just, oh, their dresses are better. The perception is our dresses are better. The perception is. I've seen pictures of people coming in here with pictures of dresses, and I'm like, oh, shoot, that's really pretty. We don't have anything as pretty as that. There have been times I felt that very strongly, right? So it's about your brand. It's key as a stylist, though. Your owner can create a brand and create all these perks, but if you as the stylist never talk about it to the bride, it's as if it never was. You're the engine. You're the communicator. You're the one that the bridge between this thing, amazingness about our shop, and what the bride actually needs and wants to hear. So get passionate about filling your tool belt with what you're going to empower her with. Make sense? Okay, key. Hit save on those things. Stories-wise, I want to come back to stories really fast. One of the difficulties was parallels. So finding the parallels between a story that you've seen or something that happened to you and what the bride experiences. So that's an exercise moving forward. We would like for not only you to do as a team, but in the follow-up accountability that we're doing after this workshop, we're going to focus in on finding parallels, how to find parallels of this story and what the bride actually needs to hear in this moment, right? And that way, once you've practiced, you understand stories, you understand the paragraphs, and you've practiced them, then you can step into the, my gut says to do it, I'm going to go ahead and try. Go ahead and try and say the story. And then tie it back and go back and go, okay, that was a try. Do you have to master it the first time? No. Give yourself a break. Give yourself some grace. Try it. Okay, that's how that felt. Okay, now I'm going to try it again. Okay, that's how that felt, right? And just keep improving on how you tell the story. And then the more excited you get, the more you will tell other stylists about it. You'll be like, you know what I just said? Blah, 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 blah. This and this and this. And then she did. It was so great. And we will celebrate with you. Be like, yes, because Glory Day, brides having a good experience is our whole passion. That's great, no matter where they go. Okay, other thoughts that needed to be said before I go forward. Okay, yes? Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I feel like I cribbed that hard for being I had the owners group, and I think something that is worth mentioning, definitely to the people here and then virtually as well, the owners crushed it. They were great at telling stories. They were confident in their experiences, and their delivery was on point. And they even commented on how if a certain bride is in the store, their stylist will come get them and say, share this story. Or if whatever the scenario is, kind of fill it in. And so I want to encourage everybody out there that get stronger in your weaknesses. Do not allow yourselves to be the crutch for your stylist. So if you're amazing at telling a story, or that's great, deliver it, but then go back and work with your team to get them stronger. You're only as strong as your weakest stylist. And that's the reality in the boutiques. You need everybody to be strong at every aspect of working with a bride.
Excellent. And stylist, same thing. Don't rely on the owner. You practice. You be independent. We're all about independence here. Very much are. If you have too much to talk about. Who else? Anything else that you need to share before we go? Good?
The
Go.
only thing I was going to say is that, how do I want to make this concise? The best way to gain confidence is to do repetition. So confidence and self-worth, two different things. So don't be shaken or don't think that you're not valuable or you don't have valuable skills as a human being because you haven't mastered this skill yet. So just know those are two separate things. And the only way to gain confidence is by repetition. Doing it over and over and over again, which requires you to be brave. But you got it, girls.
Yeah.
And gentlemen.
That's right. Everybody get a round of applause for Jared over there. Yeah.
You're clapping for yourself when you don't even know.
He was taking notes like crazy back there. I caught him up guard. Yeah, and gentlemen. It's amazing. Okay. Oh, no, I don't need that. I'm sorry. Yeah, and I think know this, that all of us are just going to keep trying and we'll fail, and then we get back up, and we're going to keep trying and we'll fail, and we'll get back up. This is what we're committed to do. Join us. Don't be afraid. Step in, fall on your face, get excited about fixing it, and do it better next time. And then we master the sport. Yeah? Super great. All right. So from here, what are we on time-wise?
You're crushing it.
Perfect. Okay. So so we actually have. We don't. It's right on. We had 30 minutes for the first thing. Yeah. Okay. We talked about changing that last night. That's why I'm kind of halting. Yeah. Okay. But we don't need to. We're good. Okay. Good. All right. Good. So what we're gonna do is go to stations. If you guys want to go to your stations, where was my station again? Got it. Okay, perfect. So we're going to have people count off to do the 5 different teams instead of sticking with the team because we had 6 yesterday, we're going to have 5 today, so we're just going to switch it up. But then also, when I started off talking about transparency because at the end of today, when you have questions, it doesn't have to be about anything in particular, it can be about anything. Anything Ava Loren, anything you've seen that you have questions about, anything at all, you can ask them, and I will decide if I answer. No. But I'll answer whatever we can answer. All right. And so, okay. So if you guys want to go ahead and split up to your places, I'm going to go up to 1 to numbers. Sorry. Okay. Let's number off. We're going to go 1 to 5. Say your number out loud, and then go to. Hey, who's 1? You got the mic. Go, Rachel. You got the stations. Number the stations for me.
1 is clamping, right here behind the vault.
Clamping is 1.
With Katie.
Yep. So 1. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're doing it. 2 is dressing room talk in the middle.
Dressing room
back
talk.
here.
Go ahead, back that way. 2,
3, my favorite number. Lucky me. Check out.
It is your favorite number. Check out 3.
4, we're going.
Timeless.
Yes. What is
That's pickups.
Pickups.
That's me. Pickups.
And then 5 is pre-call.
Pre-call.
Princess
that way.
Suite.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent.